Hi everybody, this is Shawna Odette from the Flying Cat Academy. Welcome to lesson number 84. In this lesson we'll have a review. Let's begin by setting up the table. You'll need your top 160 sight word list, and for me I've actually moved on from that sheet. My student was finished the 160, so I've gone on to the 290 top words. You can find this sheet on the flyingcatacademy.com website. Go to the guided lessons section and you'll find a sub-tab called Extra Resources, and that's where it is. In addition to that, you'll need the teacher instruction sheet for how to do the sight word study method, the student's sight word card pack, some blank index cards, a highlighter markers, and some pencils. For the phonemic awareness drill, you'll need the teacher instruction sheet, and as always, we'll have the tiles on the table, but you won't need them in today's lesson because we'll be doing a different type of phonemic awareness drill. For the visual drill and auditory drill, you'll need the teacher instruction sheets and the student's card pack. You'll have to have the syllable card drill all cut out and ready to go on the table. And for the magnetic letter tile drills for reading and spelling, you'll need the teacher instruction sheets and the cookie sheets with the magnetic letter tiles spread in a rainbow shape. You'll need the syllable pounding instruction sheet, the new phoneme grapheme kinesthetic discovery sheet, and the sheets for the lesson. We'll do a drill that we've used since lesson 81, and this is to review the different vowel teams that make the long O sound. So you'll have to have that one ready to go on the table. And in addition to that, you will now have a timer on the table because you've introduced a fluency element to the lessons, most likely. And you'll need to use a secondary program to do this, such as Read Naturally or the 6-minute reading solution. It's time for the sight word study method. Student, could you take out your card pack? I'd like you to read through every word in your card pack, and after you read a word correctly, you'll put a check mark in the corner of the card. Then you give your card pack to your teacher, and it's your teacher's turn to read. Your teacher reads each card, and you write down the word. When a word is written correctly, you'll put a check mark in the other corner of the card. Then when you're finished, it's time to have a quick discussion with your teacher about which of those words has been mastered. The mastered ones are removed from your card pack, and that leaves space so that you can introduce a new sight word. Time for the phonemic awareness drill. Today we're not going to use the colored tiles. Instead, we're going to listen for the vowel sounds. Are they long or short? If you hear a long vowel sound, I want you to make a gesture. It could be grabbing your earlobe, or it could be, making your hands wide to say that something's really big, like a long sound. And I also want you to have a separate gesture for if you hear a short vowel sound. Maybe short because it's small, or maybe you keep your hands in your lap. I'll let you decide. Here's your first word. Can you say, and I should also tell you, these are all nonsense words. Can you say lut? Okay, is the vowel sound long or short? Put your gesture up now. That one's a short one. I hear the of lut. Try this one, loot, which is actually a real one, real word. Can you say that word? I will play the lute. Okay, is it a long vowel sound or a short one? I would go like this because that's a long one. We know that the U, the long U, it's a y-oo, but most often we just say the oo part of that sound. How about this one? Teb. Can you repeat that? Not such word. Is it long or short? That one's short. I hear the ed sound, that short E sound. How about this? Hame. Can you repeat that? Is it long or short? I hear the long sound there. The A. Okay, how about wig? A real word. I will put on my wig. Long or short? I think that one's short. I hear the itchy sound. Okay, great job. Let's move on. Time for the visual drill. So student, you're going to need your card pack for this one. The teacher flashes the card, and student, you say the sound. What does this one make? Did you say O as in boat? If you did, that's right. Teacher, do about 6 to 8 flashcards in this way. Now it's time for the auditory drill. We'll use the same card pack for this one. Student, your sound is O. Can you repeat that sound? Now I'd like you to write down all the graphemes that make the sound O. As you're writing them down, say the sound O. And when you're finished, underline them and say O again. Then let's check your work. There are 3 vowel teams that can make that long sound O. OE, OW, and OA. And you could also say O, just the letter O, because it's the long sound of the letter O. Okay, teacher, you can do about 6 to 8 flashcards in this way. Time for the syllable card drill, and your teacher has this one cut out and ready to go on the table. You'll read down all the syllables in column number 1, which happen to be real words today, and all the syllables in column number 2, which also happen to be real words today. And then you'll read across the rows making nonsense words. Finally, it's time to unscramble things. And you'll unscramble column number 2 so that the syllables attached with different ones in column number 1 to make real words. When you make the real words, remember to discuss the meanings of the words and put some of them into sentences. Let's do some syllable pounding. Student, can you say this? Ect. Not a real word, but it is part of a word. Ect. How many syllables do you hear in ect? So really what I'm asking is how many vowel sounds are you hearing? And if you want to find out, put your hand under your chin and say it. Ect. Your chin will drop when a vowel sound is created, and then you can count the syllables for every time your chin hits it. Or you could stretch out your arm and say that and just shoot out the syllables as they happen, as you feel them. Okay, so I want to tell you there is 1 syllable in ect. It's that ed sound of short E. Let's try another one. Fect. How many? In that one, there's 1. It's the ed sound again of the short E. Now try this one. Infected. Can you say that word? He was infected with measles. Oh, I hope not. How many syllables are in infected? Did you say 3? If you did, that's right. I hear the I in, the e, infect, and then we have the id of ed at the end, infected. Okay, how about this one? Sandwiches. Can you say that word? I ate 3 sandwiches at lunch and I was way too full. How many syllables are in that word? Did you say 3? If you did, that's right. And how about this one? Alley. Can you say that word? He walked into the away from the street into the alley. That one has 2. Okay, great job. I'd like you to take out your Scooping Syllables worksheet now, and you'll work through a few of the words on that sheet. And teacher, you've got an eye on the time so you'll know how much the sheet can be completed. And student, remember to talk through your thinking as you're doing your scooping. We've been talking about the vowel team that makes the long sound O. And we began with OA, and then we taught a second team OW, and finally a third team OE. So there are 3 vowel teams that can do that job. We have a cartoon and a couple sentences that we use to remember which words are going to have OE, because we know that OW is most often found at the end of a word, and so is OE. And we want to know which one are we going to use when we're spelling a word. And if it's got our keywords in it, then we know that we're going to use OE. So I'm going to put the cartoon up, and student, could you tell your teacher the little story that we use to remember which words are using OE? Going to do a drill that we introduced in lesson 81. In this drill, we'll have 3 headings, OA, OW, and OE. And the teacher holds a pack of cards, and on the cards are written words that use those 3 vowel teams. The teacher will read the word, and then the student will point to the heading that shows the way that word is spelled. And then the teacher will reveal the card and the student can place it under the correct heading to check the work. Let's do the magnetic letter tile drill for reading. Student, you're going to need your cookie sheet with your letters spread in a rainbow shape for this one. Can you say B? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Can you say O? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Can you say Oo? Find the correct tile or tiles and pull them to the middle. Now tap it and say it. Okay, look at your spelling. Make any changes that you need to make. Did you say this word was blue? And did you spell it B-L-U-E? If you did, that's correct. Now we have that word blue there, and I would like you to change the word blue into blueing. So we have to apply the spelling rule that we learned about vowel teams when we add suffixes to vowel teams that end in E. Make your changes now to spell blueing. Okay, did you drop the E and add the ending so that we would have B-L-U-I-N-G? If you did, that's right. Okay, great job. Put those tiles back and we'll try a new word. Okay. Your sound is D. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Can you say oo? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now tap it and say it. And check your spelling. Did you say this word was do? And did you spell it D-U-E? If you did, that's right. And this would be do as in my library book is do. So now I'd like you to change do into do's. So I'd like you to add the suffix s. So pull that tile down. Okay. How did you spell this one? Did you spell it D-U-E-S? If you did, that's right. And I just wanted you just to take a moment to pull the S down because I wanted to show you that when we add the suffixes, the great spelling rules kick in when the suffix begins with a vowel. Because remember, these spelling rules are to try and stop confusion, and confusion happens when you get too many vowels all clogged together in a word. But in this case, the S is not a vowel, so there's no confusion that happens. So when we have a ending that doesn't end in a vowel, when it starts with a consonant, we just slam it on. Okay, great work. Put all those away, and teacher, if you have more time to do the drill in this way, then please do. And if not, then student, it's time to read your single word list, and then your short story, and then you'll move on to fluency. Let's do the magnetic letter tile drill for spelling. Student, you'll need your cookie sheet with your letters spread in a rainbow shape. Your word is boating. Can you repeat that word? I went boating on the lake for the afternoon. Okay, what's the first sound that you hear in boating? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in boating? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle, or tiles. And what's the next sound that you hear in boating? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the next sound that you hear in boating? Find the correct tiles and pull them to the middle. And think of this word as a base and a suffix. Now tap it and say it. Did you spell this word B-O-A-T-I-N-G? If you did, that's right. With vowel teams, unless the vowel team ends, it's ending the word with an E, the rule is with vowel teams, we just slam on the suffix. Okay, great work. Let's try a new word. Your word is blue. Can you repeat that word? Okay, what's the first sound that you hear in blue? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in blue? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the last sound that you hear in blue? Find the correct tiles and pull them to the middle. Now tap it and say it. Did you spell this one B-L-U-E? If you did, that's right. Now change blue into bluish. So what's the first sound that you hear in ish? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the next sound that you hear in ish? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now look at what you have and apply the spelling rule that needs to get applied. And then tap it and say it. Did you drop the E and add the ending so that you have B-L-U-I-S-H? If you did, that's right. So remember with vowel teams, usually we're just slamming on the ending unless it ends in, like the one that I'm thinking of is that, unless it ends in E, and then we're going to drop the E and add the ending. Okay, great job. I'd like you to take out a lined piece of paper and a pencil, and we're going to work on some single words. Your word is seated. Can you repeat that word? Now I'd like you to tap out think of the two parts first. So figure out your two syllables. Can you say it? Seated. So there's two. So let's do the first syllable first. So tap out seat and say the sounds as you do. Say the whole word and then write it down. And then do the second syllable. And the same process. Say it, write it down. He was seated on the bus. Okay. Did you spell this one S-E-A-T-E-D? If you did, that's right. Remember that ED can sound like ed, id, d, or t. So we always have to be careful when we hear that. Know that we're going to write it with ED. Okay, try this one. Heating. Can you repeat that word? He was heating his house with wood. Okay, think about your two syllables that you hear and tap each syllable, write it down. Tap the second one, write it down. Okay, did you write down H-E-A-T-I-N-G? If you did, that's right. And your last word is beamed. He smiled, he just beamed at me. That's like a big smile. We say someone's beaming. So beamed. Can you repeat that word? Now tap it, say it, and write it down. Did you spell this one B-E-A-M-E-D? If you did, that's right. Okay, teacher, it's time for the student to write some sentences. You'll read all 3 sentences, and the student will choose the 2 that will be written. Student, after you write a sentence, could you please check your work with CHOPS? Do a quick review before you go. You know we've been talking about vowel teams, and boy, do you know a lot about vowel teams by now. I'm wondering, could you write down the 2 vowel teams that make the long A sound? Which vowel teams say A? Did you say AI and AY are the 2 vowel teams that make A? If you did, that's right. And which of these 2 will you find at the end of words? Tell your teacher. The one that we're going to find is the AY at the end of words. Okay, could you write down the 3 vowel teams that make the long E sound? And we'll check your work. Did you say E, A, E, E, and EY? If you did, that's right. And the other big idea that we've been talking about is how to add suffixes to vowel teams. So if I had the vowel team OW and I wanted to add ing, well, first let's tap and say the word. So sh, o, show, and ing would be showing. He was showing off by taking a dive off the diving board. And what I'm wondering is, what's the great rule for adding suffixes to vowel teams? Tell your teacher. Well, in this case, I'll just do it, slam it on. The only exception is if the word ends in E, and then we drop the E and add the ending. Great job today. This is Shawna Odette from the Flying Cat Academy.